All right, I'm here with Tyler, checking out the new Torchlight game. Tyler, take us through it.
So we've got a new game called Torchlight Frontiers, which is the new online Torchlight game that kind of is what it's always been dreamed of for Torchlight since the beginning, that it eventually be an online kind of MMO style game. And we've made a new team in San Francisco just to build it. We've been working on it for 2.5 years, and we're really proud to show what we've got.
Awesome. So what are we looking at here?
So what we've got here is one of our 2 character classes that we are introducing at the show. Is the Dusk Mage. Does some light magic and dark magic. It's kind of your blaster class. It's also has a really cool kind of weapon, which is called Digitus, that replaces your hand, and it can be one of many different magical shaped things, and a focus, like an offhand magic item that adds damage.
So how much customization do you get of your character?
Just like any action RPG, we've got slots all around for you to be able to change what your outfit is. Those items even have some dye colors that change the way that piece of armor will look, and we've got a wide variety of colors for that as well. We currently don't have like a transmog system or a way of kind of changing the way your items look yet, but we've been talking a lot about doing that.
Very cool. All right, well, let's keep going.
Yeah. This is since this is an online game, we are in a town that could potentially have many players running around with their items inventories. Whether you join them or not, they'll all be there to kind of see what other cool things people are wearing and what they're doing. You can see this owl following me around. This is part of the classic Torchlight pets, familiar animals that you might have at home or might have thought of as your own pet at home, as well as some wacky other things as well we'll have as for options. In the demo today, we've got an alpaca, an owl, and dog for your pet options.
So how rich are these worlds? Because for one thing we remember from the previous Torchlight games, they're pretty expansive. What are we looking at here in online? Even more so?
Yeah, what we're seeing even today is the Goblin homelands. Kind of the goblins were a part of Torchlight before. We saw them a lot in the mines, trying to get Ember. But here's where they actually come from, out in a deciduous forest. And we've got several versions of this land with lakes and rivers and stuff, as well as this forested area. But this is just one of many of our environments that we've made. It's the main one we're showing at the show today, but we've got another one that's just filled with insects and feels gross and slimy. And we've got other ones that feel like you're up in the mountains with great heights and cool things going on there. We get some potion and start really fighting these guys, talking and fighting at the same time. The Dusk Mage has a variety of spells, including like this area effect, damage booster, that's really good for playing with other players. A single target missile called Holy Bolt that does a lot of damage, but it's just one target.
Now, speaking a bit about the online play, how many players could be possibly in a particular session?
Great question. So in town, we allow kind of larger populations, just because it's more about just seeing other people and hanging out. We've experimented with pretty large populations in these kind of open public areas, and found that at some point you reach this feeling like you're all alone in Times Square. And even though there's tons of people around, you don't know anybody, you don't remember anybody. So we've limited it right now to 8 within one of these public areas. So you'll run into some people over and over again, and you might be more likely to ask them to party and hang out with them because you see them multiple times. And then once you're kind of done playing around in one of these public areas, or you have a quest or what have you, you can go from here into a private area where it'll be just you and your party playing. I'm going to make my way over to one of those. And that is an instance that doesn't have respawning, and it's just you and your party kind of clearing the dungeon, fighting the boss at the end.
Now obviously there's times where maybe you want to play in the public and you want to play with people, but these are the kind of situations where if you want to be with a party or even on your own, you could do it?
Yeah. Even if you're in those public places, you could just kind of ignore the other players and just go on your own.
Now, sometimes with online play, you get PvP. Are we going to see that here?
We've done a little bit of work to get PvP going, but we really haven't had it as a big focus. Just like kind of previous games with Torchlight and with Diablo, it's something that we'll have available, but without it being the main focus of the game.
Gotcha. Now, we noticed on the big ads up here, the big video boards, that it's going to be on all the platforms. Are we going to see any kind of cross-platform play?
We haven't talked about that much. It has not been a focus so far.
Okay. Gotcha. And what are we looking at as far as release dates and when we should look forward to it?
Absolutely. It's we're coming out on PC in 2019, and then consoles will come after that.
Okay. So for PC, Steam and standalone, or just Steam? Or
we're still in discussions about exactly when to bring in Steam, but it'll definitely be on Arc, Perfect World's platform. But when and how it'll be on Steam is still up for discussion.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, just the artwork alone you can tell there's been more care and more crafting in this.
This is, it's just a real joy to be able to work on Torchlight as a franchise. It has such whimsy and fun. It has characters that can have real style and flavor to them. These are my favorite guys here on the screen, are these gunners that are lining up their shot and shooting a second later, so you have some time to dodge. But in particular, every world that we have, we've tried to focus on a certain theme or feel, and these goblins are all about kind of funny, fun whimsy. And so you'll see a lot of cute animations, funny ways that they'll act and talk and sound. The way they build stuff is haphazard and interesting, so kind of that's our theme here, whereas like our bug area is all gross and wet and nasty the whole time.
Now, I know, obviously we're in a noisy environment, so we can't really hear the audio, but I assume that those kind of effects are in there as well.
Absolutely, and we even have our composer that goes all the way back with us all the way to Diablo 1. Matt Ullman, who did the tracks for Diablo, he did some stuff for World of Warcraft, he did Torchlight, did Hob, and now he's doing the music for us as well.
Now, like the pets, any other kind of callbacks to the previous games?
You'll notice a few things. I think the goblins themselves are a major part of kind of the story there. We've got a lot of dwarven architecture and dwarven things. Even the other class, which I'll show here, we switch to the other class, is a dwarven machine. Pretty much our development philosophy has been assume we're going to do it somehow like it was done in Torchlight, and unless we can find a real good reason why we shouldn't.
Now, since it is online play, are we looking at any kind of fees associated, or is this going to be like a free-to-play kind of a thing?
We haven't really been talking about how we're doing monetization yet. That's not something we're really comfortable with. Mostly
that's cool.
We wanted to come out and say, here's another Torchlight game. It's got the Torchlight look and combat. It's the feel that you would hope for. We're also saying we're building this as a service. This isn't just a launch and we're done thing. We've been making this from the beginning as something we'll keep updating and adding to over the years.
So just more and more content, bigger worlds, that sort of thing.
Absolutely. We're also trying to do some other interesting things. We don't actually have a character level anywhere. It's all about your item level and your skills. We've got we don't have stats, so you're not seeing strength and dexterity and such to the games. You don't have to compare +7 vitality versus +21 health. We've got several adjustments to kind of what you've seen in an RPG to bring this together.
Well, I don't think 2019 can come soon enough, because it's like I see this, it's like, all right, I'm ready to go home and play this now and just waste hours of my life. If people want to follow your progress, and what's the best place to point them to?
We got a couple things. You can go to our Torchlight Frontiers website, sign up for the beta. We also have a Discord channel that we'd love to have people hanging out and talking with us on. We're really trying to engage with the community, talk about what they're expecting, because we have a fabulous community on Torchlight, and we want to keep them happy, make sure they feel like they're part of this process and part of making this the kind of game they want it to be.
Now, speaking of the beta, is the beta on now, or beta is coming soon?
Beta is coming soon. I can't exactly say which date, but we are, as you can see from the builds here and what we've got, we're already pretty far along, and we're looking forward to being able to do more with our players testing it, playing it, and giving us feedback.
Well, I know that our audience can't wait to see this game. We actually were here at a few years ago, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago at PAX, talking about your Torchlight 2 expansion, and now we got this. We cannot wait. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
It's our pleasure.